I'm fine.
This is Oscar Bevis for IFL TV. Dan, my man, it's good to see you. It's been a while. How are we?
I'm good. Last show of the year. It's not the Bournemouth I'm used to, I'll be honest. It's cold. I walked down the road and like wind and rain is. I hope it's better now. Honestly, I'm scared to leave this gaff.
I'll tell you what, was it May, June? Was it the workout on the pier and then the beach? We're kind of losing out this time, aren't we?
Yeah, do you know what? I've done a winter in Bournemouth before, to be fair. We did it last year at the Bic. And it was similar weather. I suppose it's Bournemouth, innit? So when it's good, but when it's bad, it's amplified, honestly, because you're right by the ocean. It's just like all the wind, all the rain. I'm not enjoying it.
Well, I've got a horrible one. I ain't got a cab distance. It's a walking distance. So I don't know what I'm going to do when I leave this place. I'll tell you what, though, in here on Sunday, not Saturday, in here on Sunday night, it's going to be loud.
It is. One thing about Bournemouth is they come out and they show up for Chris Smith. The Bic has a very strange way of holding sound as well. It feels like there's far more than 3,500 people in there. But I'm expecting a big night of boxing and a tough fight. I'll be honest, a lot of people won't know how good and how solid Masternak is. But just because you haven't heard of him doesn't mean that he's not dangerous. Trust me, if Chris isn't at the races and doesn't show up, he could easily lose that fight. So, after speaking to him, he's fully focused, laser focused. And he's ready to put on a big performance.
Yeah, someone who's had 52 professional fights has tricks up their sleeve.
Yeah, and the thing is, he's not even the type of fighter that has tricks up his sleeve. He's not tricky, but he is
Polish. He's hard.
Polish. He's tough as nails, and he's good at everything. He's a good puncher. He can take a good punch. He's never been dropped, even though he's been stopped. He's never been dropped. He is he's a good all-rounder, he really is. So he's the type of fighter that, bottom line, if you have 52 fights and you win 47 of them or whatever, it means you're the real thing. Obviously, age isn't on his side. He's been around for ages, probably coming up to 10 years since he fought Tony Bellew, but still a very competent fighter.
Yeah, obviously 2023, still got Sunday. Been a good year for boxing, but looking forward to 2024 with Riakporhe and a Coley in the mix. The cruiserweight division and boxer, this is kind of where it's at for 2024.
Yeah, I think I've been kind of looking at this for a while and looking at, we've got the vast majority of the British cruiserweights. It's good for them to fight each other. I know everyone's in different positions with different governing bodies and stuff like that, and the picture changes very quickly. But ultimately, all the fans want everyone to fight each other. They just want to work out who's best. It's ironic that Chris Smith's only loss is to Riakporhe, and then Chris Smith gets to a world title before Riakporhe.
The story for 2024, and
that's how it goes. Coley obviously was a stablemate with Chris Smith, and then he loses his world title to Chris Smith, and most people probably didn't really see that coming. There's more twists in this story, and there's loads more. We see Coley back in February. We are gonna hopefully see Riakporhe against one of those two. We'll see him in a world title shot next. We'll wait and see what the WBO do and if they call it mandatory. There's still a few moving parts, but in 2024 we got all these fights.
Just in terms of 2023 boxing on the whole, I know boxing gets a lot of stick a lot of the time, but especially if you look over in America, we've had a lot of undisputed champions crowned, unified champions. There's been big fights. We've still got a massive night in Saudi to come. 2023 hasn't been a bad year, despite the flack boxing can consistently get for not making fights. It's been a decent year, I would say.
Yeah, I think we've had some really good fights. Most of them, I would say, have been in America, to be fair, in terms of the super fights. But we've got to hope that we can make the biggest fights possible all the time. I know there's obviously politics and broadcasters and stuff that, it's not very easy to navigate, but ultimately the only people that lose out is the fans and the fighters, because they want to know who's best as well, and they would like to fight each other in the biggest high profile fights also. So 2023 wasn't too bad, but I'm hoping 2024 is better.
Obviously, we still got that week next week in Saudi Arabia. Joshua Wallin and Wilder Parker, how do you see them two?
I see them as pretty straightforward fights. Otto Wallin can make you look bad. But I think he's probably still best known for his loss against Tyson Fury, if that makes sense. So he can make you look bad. I'm not sure if he can beat an absolute A-class fighter. We'll wait. Time will tell. I think we've probably seen the best of Joseph Parker as well, and coming up against someone like Wilder means that you have to be on top of your game just to stop yourself getting knocked out. You know, that's regardless of even going on to win the fight. I like the card. I don't necessarily like some of the fights on the card, but I like the fact that there is so many big names on the card. Hopefully it brings everyone a step closer to making the fights that we actually want to see. Because let's be honest, we want to see Wilder face Joshua. We want to see, I know we're going to get Usyk and Fury. So hopefully we're just getting closer and closer. And it's a good sign because people are beginning to work with each other.
Obviously, Fury and Usyk, the belts are on the line, so there's obviously massive appeal. In terms of the two actual fighters and what they have and bringing it into the ring, is Joshua Wilder the best fight in the heavyweight division?
Probably yes, especially from if you're talking about action perspective. I've always said that I think Usyk and Fury is a great fight, but it's a fight for the purists. I don't think you're going to see action in that, whereas something like a Wilder Joshua is going to be all action. And even those moments where it's not, you know it's on a knife edge the whole way through the fight because they can both knock each other out very easily and very quickly. So I think in terms of, you take the belts out of it and you take everything out of it, it's probably still the more intriguing matchup.
Conor Benn, Chris Eubank Jr., is that something we have to see next year? I know there's so much around it, but Conor's on a beeline for Chris. I know Chris probably doesn't have too many options as big as Conor. I know there'll be fights in the States. It's something we got to see, really, isn't it?
I guess. I mean, I'm intrigued. I'm a boxer.
There's not been too much for us not to see it now. There's been too much.
As in, it got too close last time. There's been controversy. In many ways, it might make the fight a bit bigger. I'm not sure what the next kind of hurdle for it will be, but I'm sure there will be one. So yeah, I mean, it's a fight that I'm intrigued to see. Both fighters believe they win it, and there's split opinions kind of down the country. Up and down the country, people are saying no, Conor Benn. Obviously, it probably gets a little bit more intriguing now that Chris Eubank has been stopped and that he's shown a bit of vulnerability. Now that maybe gives it a little bit. I know it maybe takes the edge off it in terms of being, when you lose a fight, it doesn't necessarily help you promote the next fight, but it probably makes it slightly more interesting. Can Conor Benn hurt Eubank, etc., etc. So, yeah, I'd love to see that fight, just as a fan. So yeah, hopefully it does happen.
And one more thing, what was Boxer's show of 2023? When we're talking the package, the atmosphere, the fight, all the fights on the card, all the way down, what was kind of your show of 2023?
It could be Bournemouth. However, Liam Smith for Smith Eubank was insane. I'm gonna go a double tie. I'll give them a tie because Bournemouth was special. It was our first stadium fight outdoors in the summer in Bournemouth, and then we a strange top of the bill fight. Let's be honest, in terms of what actually happened. But yeah, I think those two were our best fights.
I'm fine.